Leon, did you read the story?
I'm sorry, there's a story.
Well, I can break it down for you. Once upon a... All right, fine. Jeez. Just trying to make everybody's lives easier.
God, is there ever a good picture of this guy?
I think it's a law of physics. I think it's like the fifth force in the universe, that once you start earning more than X amount of dollars, every photo they take of you makes you look like a twit or a douchebag. I mean, I might be wrong, but, you know. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I'm totally here. What do you want? What do you want from me? Let's just do the fucking show.
No, I'm just...
Just playing with you, man. It's okay. I am eating a Jolly Rancher popsicle, but besides that, I'm totally here.
What flavor?
Actually, that's the amazing thing. It's purple on the outside, but inside green. But they're all different. So this one just happens to be purple and green.
Son of a bitch.
And there's a joke on each stick, but you have to eat it in order to find the answer.
Well, we'd better hear the joke later in the fucking cast.
I'm gonna.
You don't dangle that shit in front of me and then take it away, is what I'm saying.
I understand. I'm gonna start eating it now, and then eventually I'll just butt into whatever we're talking about as soon as it's available, and everyone will shut up and listen to my stupid joke. But anyway, I'm ready to do whatever it is we're doing.
Did you watch the new Studa trailer?
I have not seen the trailer. No.
Why don't you watch the trailer? I'm going to go get a drink, because then you guys can, I don't know, fanboy about it for a little bit.
I love this song!
Really?
I don't remember what it's called.
What song is it?
I don't know. I'm not good at naming it.
Who sings it?
No one. It's not sung. It's classical.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That doesn't
violins and shit.
That doesn't mean that nobody sings it, though.
That's true, but it's definitely instrumental.
I see.
So good!
Are you okay?
No! There's a cyborg, and he's black. It's great. Oh, summer. All right.
It's like genuine childlike wonder.
Yeah, that was kind of humbling. I feel terrible now that I'm all old and jaded and cynical, and that nothing excites me like that anymore.
I'm in my 30s too, but really, it's mostly just the new Suda game that gets me really excited.
Leon, you just wait until you turn 33. Everything goes. That 1 year, it makes all the difference. I promise you. Everything changes.
All right, so I guess I'm ready to go when you guys are.
I'm ready as an egg in an Egg McMuffin.
So you're plastic and full of preservatives?
I am so ready that you wouldn't even recognize that there was a point in time where I was unready and also an egg. I'm all connected up, bitches. You got all of me. You got the full Johnny, which is nowhere near as cool as the full Leon.
It really isn't. People still ask me about that constantly on my Twitter.
Am so happy.
Literally nothing else in my life is as important as that.
I didn't even need to make anything up. I was just like, the full Leon. And then suddenly people are all like, full Leon. Oh, fantastic. So, yeah, we're ready then? Shall we begin?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm actually genuinely excited about video games right now. So let's just do this. This before I completely lose it.
Let's
You lose your game boner.
Right, I know. We gotta do it quickly.
Hurry, you have time.
I'm sorry, I've been in this situation many times, so let's just do it quick.
All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's gone.
Welcome to the annual meeting of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Bus. Yes, that's right. The secret society that maps out all the unofficial policies that dominate your public transit experiences. Well, if you're just tuning in to us now, we've just concluded that 95% of all buses that you ride are going to smell of pee. Next on the docket, we will be discussing the hours of the day and or night where it is appropriate to have someone sitting right at the front of the bus talking to themselves manically. Austin, you have the floor.
Okay, I wasn't really listening, but I heard you say something about buses, and I have a story about buses, because I ride the bus to class, because I am a university student, and there's, like, signs all over the inside of our buses that say something like 72% of men from our school get consent before sex, and it's supposed to be, like, a good thing. It's like, look how responsible we are, and all I can think is 28% of us are rapists, and that's not something to brag about.
Yeah.
Like, what is the bar? I'm sorry, Does the University of Florida have a much higher irreparably damaged student body percentage or something? Like, what are we shooting for?
Wow, that did not take, like, any time at all to suddenly jump onto the subject of rape.
I was not intentional. That's a real-ass story. I see this poster every day.
No, I believe you. I do, you know, like, I'm well aware of this whole, like, you know, men trying to stand up for men thing that's going on. But yeah, no, I do agree with you that having to explain to someone that there's really only a 72% chance I'm not a rapist is a bit, that's a low bar.
Like, I guess I'm glad we're working on it, but I thought we were a little bit further along than that, is what I'm trying to get at, I guess.
I'm quite happy to just sort of remove myself from the gender when it gets into this kind of talk, like, you know, yeah, but I mean, not all men, as if, like, I have to take it personally that women are, you know, concerned about rapists. You know, like, I don't feel the need to defend humanity when somebody is like, hey, Jeffrey Dahmer was a pretty bad guy, and I'm like, hey now, guys.
Not all humans.
Not all humans. You know, it's, I'm perfectly happy to distance myself from that 28% there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to start this on a downer. I keep forgetting. I have that in my brain like all day. I've never said anything, and you just brought an opportunity, and I was like, does anyone else? I'm sure other people who listen to this are of college age. Do you guys have these? There's like billboards and stuff too, like in the city of Tallahassee. That's like only something like only like 25% of students get like blackout drunk and can't remember what they did the next day, like every night. It's like, we have all these kind of facts, and I think we're supposed to be proud of them. I don't know.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned this, because my girlfriend actually had a pretty similar experience at her university not long ago, where she, like, there was this big, like, poster up somewhere that was like, you know, tips on like avoiding rape or tips on preventing rape. And it was like, you know, a bunch of people who had like, or it basically cobbled together these rules for like how female students, you know, can act in order to possibly prevent getting sexually assaulted. And like somebody, of course, right at the bottom had like, you know, scrolled this final last point, like point 12 or something like that in Sharpie marker that was like, don't rape people. Because I mean, that wasn't in there, as if like how to prevent rape. Maybe we should not rape people. That might be a good way to avoid it.
It's a controversial statement, much like when Leon came out against apartheid on that one episode.
I remember that.
You know, I don't care who I pissed off. I just felt really strongly about it, and I just put myself out there and said it's kind of icky.
I respect you taking a stand.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people would just say, you know, no apartheid is the amount of apartheid that I'm okay with.
That was really, really ballsy, Leon.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, everyone stop, because apparently we're supposed to do this. Because I have a joke that came out of my popsicle.
Okay.
What does a parrot want on the 4th of July?
Fireworks?
Firecrackers.
Got it!
Fuck.
Nailed it!
Suck it, Austin!
Oh, man.
In your face! You just got out-joked, son! Bring it!
Congratulations on out-joking the morose motherfucker who started the gaming podcast with a rape anecdote. Because, you know, we're so jolly up in here. These last couple episodes have been really dark, so I think we need to... We had the thing with Tomb Raider, we got into this kind of same material, and then before, your computer exploded, so I think we need to have a livelier happier cast this time.
Well, I am happy to report, ladies and gentlemen, loyal listeners, that my computer, my brand new computer, is up and running at full capacity. I am broadcasting from it right now. What? That was. I don't think that was really an appropriate place to throw a what.
It's okay. No, do it.
It felt natural at the time, you know. Maybe I'm being a little grandiose. Maybe I'm grandstanding a little bit, but this quiet, softly humming, machine of industry and genius is. Ooh, it looks like a Cylon. Like it looks like a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. No, I know what Cylons are.
Well, I don't know if other people do.
Austin, you know what Cylons are, right? You've seen at least one of the Battlestar Galactica shows, right?
We actually had this discussion on another episode where I was going to watch it, and I'm still planning on it, but I have not seen an episode, although I am, through cultural osmosis, aware of Cylons.
Yeah, okay. It looks like one of the newer Cylons. And I don't mean like Trisha Helfer.
Oh, damn.
No.
I'm just kidding. I actually, I'm not, I was only joking. I'm not into blondes. Gotta tell you.
Well, she's not naturally a blonde, though.
Even so, doesn't matter.
Is this where this is going?
This is where this is going.
I guess so. Let's follow the crazy train down the rabbit hole.
That's a good mixed metaphor there.
Yeah. All right, then Grace Park.
Yeah.
That was.
Are we playing Would You?
No,
like
these are actors on Battlestar Galactica.
It's which Cylon would which Cylon? We're playing which Cylon, and I have to go with Grace Park.
Lucy Lawless.
Ooh, that's good. Except I think she'd hurt me.
I would be okay with that.
She's too tall.
Not if she'd hurt me. If she'd hurt you, that would arouse.
Oh no! I have no idea what's going on, and I'm kind of glad this time.
But actually.
So no one's picking Dean Stockwell.
I think we'll leave Dean Stockwell for Austin. He's got those special tastes.
I don't. I assume you're making fun of me, but I don't know enough to confirm that.
We talked about the good-looking Cylons, and then we talked about, and I didn't just mean because he's a man.
Austin, have you ever had the privilege of watching Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
As Al, friggin' Al. You know what I just realized?
Only in like 2010.
Okay, I have like two nerdy things that I need to talk about in regards to teaching. These days, I work primarily as a substitute teacher, unlike what I used to be. And one of my students said, "Where's?" I can't even remember her name. I think it was Miss Johnson. "Where's Miss Johnson?" I said, "I don't know Miss Johnson. I just change places with her. I never actually meet the teachers." And he says, "Never?" And I say, "No. It's like Quantum Leap."
Did anybody get that?
No. I felt so old. The other nerdy thing is one kid. Oh, the one kid was discussing Star Wars, and he got Jango Fett and Boba Fett wrong, and his friend was arguing with about which one is Jango Fett and which one is Boba Fett. And I sat there for like 2 minutes, like I can't engage. And then eventually I said, "No, look, Boba Fett is the dad, and Jango Fett is his clone son." And he's like, "Yeah, got you." And it's like the teacher said so.
Except, no, that's not it at all.
Boba Fett is... and I mean the opposite of that. That's what, you know what I mean. Jango Fett was the dad, and Boba Fett was the clone son. See,
well, I hoped that was what you meant, but I needed to be sure.
I did mean that. I just I'm getting mixed up by talking.
I believe you. It's all right.
But I did get it right in class.
Become thyself.
In class, I got it right, and that's the important thing. I imparted real knowledge to someone that is useful in the real world.
Apparently, there was a student you had recently that was like massively impressed with your knowledge of Final Fantasy. Is this true?
Yes. Also that. It was like a computer program. They had to make like a little puzzle game out of a computer, and the puzzle game was related to Final Fantasy, because the answers to all the questions were Final Fantasy characters. And I looked at it for about 5 seconds, and I said, "Oh, it's a Final Fantasy thing." And he's like, "Yeah."
So the moral of the story is, my computer looks like Dean Stockwell.
Oh.
And Austin would probably do it. No.
I mean, Probably.
It looks like one of the Raiders. It looks like the front of one of the Raiders without the pointy wings and things like that. But yeah, it's up in working condition. I'm happy to report that the GeForce GTX Titan is fucking off the hook. I'll talk a little bit about it later when we get into what we're playing. And my hard drives are okay. I got all my backup data, all my save games, everything. There's a couple of things that still need setting up. My joystick still needs to have its drivers installed. I need to reset up my Blistered Thumbs email account, so I apologize if anybody ever has. If anybody's emailed me at Blistered Thumbs, my Blistered Thumbs account, I have been unable to receive it. I haven't had access to that account for the past couple of weeks. So hopefully get a chance to remedy that in the next couple days. But yeah, the new computer's a beast. It's fucking awesome. I love it. I feel back in my element. Things are looking up for me, and by association, the BT Podcast. Yeah!
Yay.
High five!
To the internet.
Internet 5.
So I have to ask before, I'm sure someone who's listening is thinking it, are we going to have part 2 of what Leon's wife is playing later?
I will briefly touch on it, yeah.
Okay.
In the meantime, why don't we go ahead, seeing as how we didn't really get a chance to do much news reporting last week, do you gentlemen feel okay about leaping into the news this week right away?
I guess so.
I mean, I say right away, but what I really mean
We're
is
20 minutes in.
20 minutes after assing around. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be 5 minutes of listening before this for people hearing this, but yes, we've been on here for like half an hour.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, big news today, dominating the front pages, the side pages, the back pages, any kind of page you can imagine. The CEO of Electronic Arts, John Riccitiello.
Fire.
Riccitiello.
Donatello. He's a Ninja Turtle.
Donatello has resigned. That's it. 6 years, I believe, at the helm of Electronic Arts, and John Riccitiello is gone.
He's stepping down on the 30th officially. But yeah, he has announced his intention to resign, citing basically that EA is kind of losing money left and right, even though that they've implemented always online DRM into some stuff. They have micropayment.
There's no way that fucking any of that shit would negatively affect your company price-wise.
Well, I'm just saying, from their perspective, they're doing everything they can to maximize profits, and it still wasn't working. So, he basically fell on his sword there. I don't know.
No. He did not fall on his sword there. Falling on his sword there is walking out the door and being like, I failed. What he is doing is walking out the door with 2 years of salary and benefits in his back pocket. 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's skydiving off EA headquarters double golden parachutes, so we can agree on that. But I'm saying, if you read the letter, he said basically, that we're failing to meet projected financial forecasts. So
I think he's getting out of the business because he sees Electronic Arts' card is in line to be pulled, and he doesn't want to be the guy that ruins the company. He is saving himself. He's not falling on his sword. He's jumping ship. He's like, wait, I'll go on ahead.
I don't know, because I know a lot of people were quick to jump to SimCity and Dead Space, the recent releases, which have been problematic in different ways. But obviously, the numbers that we're looking at, which may have determined whether or not he resigned, have nothing to do with the recent releases. This is going back a year or so. We're talking about the financial stuff that's coming out now. The SimCity won't show up for a while on there.
Even then, we're like the figures I think came out today that SimCity has managed to sell, despite its problems, well over 1 million copies.
Yeah, I mean, me and you, we discussed this at some length last time, where I was basically saying that just like Diablo 3, the fiasco that happened because of the DRM has nothing to do with sales.
Exactly. It's by all accounts on the books, it's going to look like quite a success. So no, he's not leaving because there was a SimCity disaster. I mean, in the first place, the the very little amount that Electronic Arts pays to its PC audience. And I should mitigate this because I need to give Mr. Riccatello, I don't know why I have a problem with that name, all due respect, that while he was in charge of Electronic Arts, he was actually maintaining a degree of respect for a PC playing base that a lot of other companies the size of EA were not. So I have to kind of give him respect for that. I still think that the direction that the company was moving in and a lot of the choices that happened while he was at the head were the wrong choices. But I think that they were largely the wrong choices as a company rather than a company treating its PC audience. But yeah, by all accounts on paper, SimCity is going to look like a startling success.
Man, I wish I could get fired and make a bunch of money on the way out.
Wouldn't it be fantastic if you could not even get fired, but, leave your job? He is resigning. Leave your job and retain pay and benefits for fucking 2 years after the fact.
For failing, too. I mean, essentially. It's not even like he was going out, successfully. That's...
I'm sorry. You want to know why you're fucking hemorrhaging money as a company? And the guy who is in charge of, plummeting your stock prices, you're like, wow, you did it your best. Oh, gold star. By the way, here's $1.7 million in benefits. And, oh, no, don't worry. We're going to start paying the new guy on Tuesday.
It's a completely different, alien mindset to normal people, isn't it?
I don't understand corporate culture. At the risk of sounding fucking middle class, I work for a living.
Yeah.
I'm lower middle class. I work harder, and, I don't want to have a contest about who sucks more. It's me. I suck.
I don't know. I think me and Leon might have competition here, but we'll save it.
You're a student.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Okay, I'm just saying.
And Leon, you do aspire to, higher ideals. You are a teacher. There's an innate respect in that. You'd rather take the money?
Oh, so much at this point. Oh, God. Seriously, EA, if you're looking for a new guy to just stand there and look unappealing in a picture, I mean, I could do just as well as that one guy.
I think my buddy Christopher Whitman said it best, where he was like, hey, if you need someone to make all those bad decisions and walk out the door with $1.7 million, I'm your man. I can make bad decisions like nobody's business.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us feel like we could do just as bad of a job.
And that is the thing. That is, I mean, in the end, what is this money for? What are we paying these people for? Did Johnny there have such a unique vision for Electronic Arts?
I mean, yeah, you have to wonder what the qualifications are. I'm sure he's a really intelligent guy with a lot of interesting things in his past, but was he so much more qualified than everyone else? Millions of dollars more qualified? That would be interesting.
Does he know anything about games? Is he a business school graduate? I don't even know these things about him, I mean, he's been with the company for some 20 years. He's only CEO for 6. Yeah.
I think, and he left between becoming. I think he was CFO, and then he went and he opened up his own private equity thing, and then came back to be CEO. So I think he's a businessman.
So he's a businessman, like every other person that manages these huge. I have a problem with this. Because it's every single time you get into a goddamn CEO position, you are required, by fucking company mandate to be I love video games, Call of Honor 2, and Drift Page, and The Secret of the Sphinx.
I can feel you reaching, just clawing in the dark there. That was really fun.
It's a thing, it's the same thing that and I mean this might be falsely disparaging because I know that there are plenty of of actors out there that are at heart big nerds. But when you get a crew of actors that show up at a Comic-Con and things like that, and there's this dissonance between the way this actor lives their life and the audience they're talking to, that you get people standing up and asking questions like, oh, hey, what, I love your movies. What's your favorite comic book? And they're like, I really love Spider Dude and Clawman and Super Guy.
Clawman died recently, but they brought him back in like the next issue. Just really, really pissed people off. It was like, well, fuck it. Clawman always comes back, so I don't know why.
I'm insinuating that there's a disconnect. There's obviously a disconnect between the people who run these companies and the people that they're trying to market to. And
but Johnny, Bobby Kotick plays video games.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Bobby Kotick plays video games like a Coca-Cola Board of Directors Simulator 2013.
Do you think this will leave some sort of power vacuum and Activision will swoop back in to be the most people? No? No. I mean, Activision doesn't have to try anymore. It's obvious that they're not trying. We've all seen we all know what can possibly expect from Tuesday's release of The Walking Dead Survival Instincts. I like how that no one's seen any substantial footage from that game, and we all just assume it is AIDS.
It's gonna be bad. We all know it. It's a license game first, okay?
Yeah.
And not we really love the comic book license and are therefore respectful of the source material. But it's, hey, the TV show is really popular. We should make a video game about it.
Yeah, it's twice removed from the original. It's like a license of a license.
Yeah.
Plays 6 Degrees and Kevin Bacon with this game.
And I mean, what do we know about the dev studio? What are their names?
Terminal Reality.
Yeah, Terminal Reality. Sorry, what was the last thing that they did?
I think aren't they the Blood Rain people?
Oh God, are they?
I feel that's what my brain is telling me. I'm just gonna Terminal Reality and just Googling that shit. I'm professional as fuck. Yeah, Blood Rain. The last thing they did was connect Star Wars, but before that, Blood Rain.
All right. Well, that's.
I don't even have to make a joke. This writes itself. Connect Star Wars, guys.
Pretty much. There we go. From the developers of Connect Star Wars. Or I suppose I should say, from the developer of a part of Connect Star Wars.
I hope that the person personally responsible for the part where Han Solo dances is the director on this one.
Oh my God.
I want his creative mind to shape every moment of this game.
So no, I don't think that this is going to create a power vacuum for Activision. Activision is quite content, I think, at this point in time, to not bother putting money into developing things. No, I'm dead serious. What do they have? What do they have coming out of the gate? Heart of the Swarm just launched the other week.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that was in development for fucking 2 years, an expansion pack for a sequel that took fucking 12 years to make and didn't really change that much in the first place.
Well, I'm curious about how separate Blizzard gets to be from the rest of Activision. I get the sense that they get some autonomy there.
Well, I'm not going after their creative force. I'm not going after Blizzard's creative force. I mean, I can mouth off about Blizzard as much as I like. They've lost my respect. That's my own opinion, what have you. But we can't deny the fact that all the money that's going in through those doors is getting injected right into Bobby Kotick's veins.
It's like that scene in Train Spotting where they fucking shoot up and the baby crawls on the ceiling.
Almost, man. And that's every dollar from a World of Warcraft subscription, every advertising contract that I don't know, MLG gamers do. I don't even know if MLG is StarCraft 2. I know very little about the competitive gaming scene in terms of League of Legends and StarCraft 2 and things like that. But But all that money gets fed into Activision profits. They are raking in cash right now by making one game a year, slapping the Call of Duty name on it, and then just kind of hanging back. I just want
to come in here. I just want to say Skylanders, just really close to my microphone. Skylanders, and then I'll just back up.
Okay, all right.
That's a lot of money too.
Well, I'm not insinuating. I'm sorry. I'm not insinuating that they're just sitting around and making only Call of Duty, because they possess a great deal of licenses as well. They've got the James Bond license right now. I'm pretty sure.
They may have actually lost that. They pulled all their James Bond games from all the digital distribution services after 007 Legends flopped and caused their studio to go out of business.
Oh.
So they haven't confirmed, but they may have had the license forcibly taken from them.
I know that they've got the Transformers license. They have Transformers.
Yeah.
And the Transformers games have done modestly well. You know, I'd say they're not money sinks. They've also got the Spider-Man license. What we're really talking about... Oh, I'm totally fucking dropping the ball here. They also have fucking Bungie's new game, don't they?
Yeah, they are publishing Destiny.
Yeah, they're going to be publishing Destiny as well. So, you know, I don't want to be like, fucking Activision. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is that they can rest on their laurels pretty much if they want to, but, you know, I don't think that suddenly they're going to be like, oh my god, EA's CEO has changed, quick, let's make a Dead Space ripoff.
I mean, when I said power vacuum, I was kind of joking, as in they will reclaim their crown as the evil empire, because the joke is that those are like the two evil companies, and they switch back and forth, like on who's more evil every once in a while.
Ah, yes. I think as long as Bobby Kotick doesn't, you know, like show up on screen or like talk in an interview to anybody and be like, I love video game, they'll be okay.
So, I mean, that's that story. We don't have that much more news, but there is one thing. I might leave it in the beginning. There is a bit of news that made Leon literally squee, and I want to hear him talk about that.
I think that should be the stinger, honestly.
We'll see if I can salvage that, because it might have just clipped the audio. I don't even know if it'll all be salvageable, but I'll try.
Okay, basically, what happened was that Suda51, my favorite guy ever, not just in video games, but perhaps just on Earth, he's making a new game, as he is known to do, and it is called Killer is Dead. And it's hard to explain exactly what it's about or exactly how it's going to feel because, you know, I haven't played it and I've only seen bits and pieces. But what I can say is that it looks like it took the aesthetic from Killer 7 and the apparent gameplay from No More Heroes and smooshed them together and said, here, play this. And I'm going to, as it turns out. I have other games I need to play first, just because I just do. But Killer is Dead and a few JRPGs that I missed. I think that those are the last current generation console games that I'm getting. In my head, I was thinking about it like a few months ago. I'm like, all right, I have a few JRPGs to play that I can play on my PlayStation 3 and Wii, and that'll be pretty much it for this console generation. There's nothing else I really, really want to play. I have to add Killer is Dead because it's Suda. And it looks great. His most recent game, big release, Lollipop Chainsaw, was good, but pretty much everything else he's done this generation was better. And this looks like it's back more to form. Just by looking at it. I don't know what it's about. It's about an assassin. He kills people with swords, and there's a black cyborg, and so it reminds me of Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. And
I was thinking it's Jax from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay. Well, there's lots of black cyborgs.
Is that a coincidence?
They're everywhere, man. Black cyborgs.
I swear, you know. Anyway, I'm not even gonna go any further. But yeah, it looks really cool, and it looks crazy and weird, and that's kind of what I expect from Grasshopper. And yeah, I will be playing it. I will find a way to play this game. In fact, because I mean, maybe if it's like a game you can finish in a few hours, I might just rent it and just barrel through it in a day, which is rare for me, but I may have to do it. But yeah, I was looking at the trailer right before the show, and it like renews my interest in gaming like that quickly. In new games, because I'm sort of been on a retro kick since the beginning of the year. You'll have listening to the show know I'm just playing through Final Fantasy VI. But yeah, I want to play this game. I want to play this game so hard. And that's it. That's what I have to say about it. It looks cool. It looks really, really cool. And laser sword? I want to say it's a sword or a laser sword. It is glowing, so I don't know. I assume it's laser.
Did you see who the publisher was on that, Leon?
Oh no, I actually didn't. I just looked at who's publishing it.
This time, actually, Xseed Games is publishing Killer is Dead.
Don't they mostly do, like, JRPG, or
yeah.
strategy therapies or something?
They usually, they're almost exclusively into basically localizing niche JRPGs. They did oh gosh, my brain is just exploding. They did was it The Last Story? Yeah, they did The Last Story recently, as well as Corpse Party, I want to say, and some other stuff. I feel like that's right, but yeah, they do all kinds of weird little stuff, and I think they're really cool, and I'm glad they did, because the last couple Suda games they've been jumping around. Lollipop was Warner Brothers, and Shadows of the Damned was EA, which, I mean, I know we just went at EA for like 10 minutes, but
criminally under-advertised.
Yeah,
even I know it.
EA basically murdered that game in the cradle, which is a shame, because that's probably the best game he's ever made mechanically.
In terms of, it doesn't feel the least bit wonky, and other games sort of do, even though they're awesome. You may be right. I still prefer the No More Heroes, at least the first one, more than that. But Shadows of the Damned, yeah, it does feel like it's How do I say that this doesn't sound like a slam on Suda? It feels super competently made.
No, all of his games have that kind of like. They have kind of an amateurish charm to the way they feel in your hands. Like the humor is good and stuff, like the personality, but they feel janky a lot of times. And I do think I think his name is Mikami, the guy who made Resident Evil 4, helped out with Shadows, which is why it feels so good.
Okay.
So that probably helps. Yeah, Shadows is great, man.
I do love that game. It is such a great game, and yeah, just the fact that it pretty much tanked commercially, and I mean it got pretty good reviews, so I wouldn't say it tanked critically, but yeah, it's a shame because it ends in such a way that you're like, I can't wait for the sequel.
It's probably never going to happen, though. I would buy one.
Yeah.
I can't eat cherries anymore without thinking of Shadows of the Damned. Do you guys remember that scene?
I remember there being the eat fruit. What specifically was the cherry part?
Where Johnson's explaining how strawberries are made up of ground tongues, and he's like, "You don't want to know what cherries are made out of."
Oh.
Hymens is the joke there.
Yeah,
guys.
I get it.
And every time I see cherries, that's immediately what I think of. It's like ruined for me. It's great. His humor is so good.
My favorite joke in the entire game, it was he has to look at his own grave for a second, and it says, "Here lies Garcia Hotspur. He died wearing a purple coat." That's just perfect.
Oh, jeez. Johnny.
Yo.
You don't care about any of this console stuff?
I do. I mean, just because I don't engage in the console play doesn't mean that I can't appreciate games, particularly of Suda 51. We've spoken at length about, what was it? Just a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the Sleeping Dogs expansion pack with the Chinese zombies, the Jiangxi, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love it when games don't necessarily take themselves so seriously. I mean, I love a good serious story. I have space for a drama, but there's space for comedy, there's space for parody, there's space for surrealism, there's out there stuff, Like, I can appreciate the art of a Suda 51 game. Yeah. I can appreciate the nuance. So, yeah. That's all right. Be cool, bitches.
Bitches leave.
I assume you were going somewhere, though.
Not really. I mean, you have been playing Metal Gear Solid the last couple of weeks, but then I think you're stopped to wait for subsistence, so you didn't have to fight the camera.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. After being convinced by you and several other people, including my esteemed Blistered Thumbs colleague, Mr. Yusuf Al-Shaker, that subsistence was really the superior way to play the game, I found a copy of it in a secondhand store online. They started shipping it to me on Saturday, and it should be here within the next couple of weeks. So I'll see if I can tear myself away from this beautiful, beautiful computer long enough to see if subsistence, does indeed sort of facilitate the means of playing the game that Hideo Kojima had originally envisioned better than the original camera angle.
So, I mean, in the meantime, you've been playing Arma?
Well, me playing this week has been a little up and down, a little bit of everything. Because I only got the computer in on Tuesday. I went and picked it up. So all Tuesday, of course, was basically making sure that, everything was hooked up properly. I think there's still something wrong with one of my USB 2.0 hubs, but that won't be much trouble to check out. But getting all my drivers installed, I was really anxious to see whether or not my hard drives were okay. So, getting them installed, getting them mounted properly in the BIOS, and they didn't install any software on the machine at the assembly place, so I installed my operating system and, got everything up and working and did the whole shebang. That took me a couple of days to go through, ironing out all the cracks, getting video codecs and, all those sort of necessary applications that you need in your day-to-day computing. It's a bit weird when you go to YouTube and it's like, this doesn't work. And you're like, oh yeah, I need Flash, right? So that took me a couple of days to do. And then immediately after that, once I got everything like minimal up and running, there were still a bunch of other things I needed doing. I went about basically installing just about every game that might have possibly taxed my old computer even slightly. I kind of liken it to showing up at your, 10-year high school reunion and being like, look at me now, Ma! Or, maybe not Mom, because if you show up at your high school reunion trying to, show your mother up, that's got to be a really, really weird high school experience that you've had.
Was that intentional, or did you just stumble into that?
I just stumbled into that.
That was the impression I got, but I wasn't sure if you were going somewhere, and then...
No, not really. I mean,
you went to high school with your mother?
No.
Simultaneously?
No. Only for a year. Anyways.
Either you're really gifted, or she got held back a lot.
My mother's a darling, Austin. How dare you?
I'll be the judge of that, sir.
So, I installed a number of games this week and went through a cavalcade of them, playing very few of them in any substantial form. So I'll leave the substantial ones till later. But I went through sections of Arkham City because it's 3D ready for my setup and also PhysX accelerated. So, my new card being NVIDIA means it's compatible with my 3D setup and also PhysX compatible. So I cranked all the settings, got the 3D on, pumped up the PhysX and went to town. Beautiful. Assassin's Creed 3, which I think might have just been made badly, but I don't know for sure. I gave that a bit of a whirl, and it runs. It runs if you saw it run, you'd be like, wow, look at that fucker run. If it ran across a field, you'd be like, wow, that Assassin's Creed 3 must be going somewhere. Civilization 5, oddly enough, I reinstalled and ran because my old motherboard, its RAM was capped at 8 gigabytes. I now have 32 in my system, and my old system was it was a first generation quad core. I'm now.
I feel like you're basically just swinging your dick around. You're just like, just look at it. Look at it.
No, but this was every time I get a new computer, this is what I do. I just I install Stalker, the Stalker games. I installed the Stalker games and the Stalker Complete mods, which actually caused my old system to stutter a little bit. No problem now. Grand Theft Auto 4, because partly as a joke, because I remember when they released Grand Theft Auto 4 for the PC, you couldn't change the default graphics settings, and they wouldn't let you modify it. So I installed this to see, A, what it would default at, and B, so I could use the ENB lighting mod, the Ice Enhancer it's called, which is a fucking system hog. I installed that. Oh my god. It runs like infant diarrhea. And a couple others as well, but I did get a chance to play some Tomb Raider as well. mostly yesterday for several hours during the day, with the Tress FX enabled. Do you guys know about Tress FX?
That's the hair physics?
That's the hair physics. Oh my god.
What was it, like a shampoo commercial up in that bitch?
No, it gets like the thing is most times it's actually pretty reasonable. You're like, hey, those are some pretty cool hair animations. But when like I don't know, when the wind picks up, it just goes fucking sideways.
Like the hair goes sideways or the whole?
No, I mean, like it's like each individual hair has to obey its own kind of physical presence, right? But it's like they don't have friction in the physical equations. So it's like each hair is like a free-floating, non-friction, like, strand.
So they all kind of move with their own, like, minds? There's like a bunch of tentacles?
It goes fucking everywhere! It looks like she just suddenly gets an attack of, like, the fucking Medusas going on. It's like... I mean, that aside, though, it does look gorgeous. It's fucking gorgeous. It works with my 3D setup perfectly. Square Enix is killing me right now. Oh my god. They are courting my love so much, and I am giving it to them. I'm not really going to expand much on the gameplay because we had a lengthy discussion about it last week. Suffice to say that it's really good. It's a very, very good game. I'm really enjoying it. I also got a chance to play for an extended period of time. I guess it was Stalker Call of Pripyat. I guess it was. And I've spoken at great length about the Stalker series in the past on the podcast too. But I've never actually finished Clear Skies or Call of Pripyat. I finished Shadow of Chernobyl, but
I've never gotten very far in any of those games. I kind of wander around, shoot some people, run away from invisible like death zones, and then just get splattered.
I really wish that they had a cooperative like multiplayer version of the Stalker games, which
so you could watch me die.
No, so I could be like, Austin, don't move. You'd be like, why? And I'll be
like, it's behind you.
If it was behind you, I would shoot.
You shoot through me. I know you.
Oh no, Austin, please. I have
Operation Human Shield. Go.
I have a standard.
Friendly fire is your one standard?
No. My one standard is, if in a cooperative game, play ball.
I have something to add, but I'm not going to. So, you played, you had an Austin week. You played all the games.
I played a whole fuck ton of games, just because I wanted, again, to see, if the machine was up and running properly, and I ran a bunch of memory tests, and, graphical benchmarks, and all that shit. Still no Crysis 3. Everybody's like, how does your new rig run Crysis 3? I'd be like, I'd tell you if I wanted to give Electronic Arts my money. But I don't. Speaking
of new AAA releases that were pretty underwhelming, did you guys see Yusuf's God of War Ascension review?
Yep.
No, it's another one of those colon games. They made 3, and then they're like, let's go back in time with Gears of War and God of War and apparently
Gum of War and
right.
Goo of War.
Apparently the new
Shoe of War.
Apparently the new PS4. God, is it Resistance or Killzone? It's getting a colon game. Okay.
I think it's
Killzone.
Is it Killzone?
Yeah.
All right.
You guys can't even keep your brown and gray first-person shooter straight.
I'm sorry. My Medal of Honor is all mixed up.
So what's the deal with the God of War Ascension review thing?
Okay, so first of all, for listeners, history lesson, Yusuf Alsheker is our UK content dude. He does all the British stuff for us. But he also has kind of a reputation for starting shit on the internet.
He's also got a very luxurious beard.
These facts might be related. We're not sure yet. Anyway, as we discussed on the previous episode, he reviewed a Halo 4 and didn't give it a very good score, and people were very angry.
Did not think much of it.
Yeah, I played it too. It's okay. Maybe I would have given it a 6. Like, he gave it, I believe, a 4 or 5, and people were not happy. So it's happened again, this time with God of War Ascension. People are basically saying that he's a troll and that he's just doing it for hits, even though he doesn't give a shit about hits. I don't think he even knows. Like, no one's ever asked me to look at the traffic, so I assume none of our writers know or care about the traffic. So that's a thing. But here is where I'm going with this. It's not even that, like, I mean, every reviewer, obviously, he's going to get flack and we're going to feel grumpy about it. But have you noticed kind of at the end of this console generation, we're getting a lot of these kind of just going through the motions sequels to big franchises, and everyone's basically just okay with that? Like, everyone's eating it up. They're all getting 8s and 9s.
Well, the thing is that I can't really speak to the reviews, but we're getting these things because they want to save God of War 4 for PlayStation 4. And he said, but they're sitting on, they're like, oh god, we got this franchise that everyone likes, and we sure like money, so let's make a God of War game that's between 3 and 4, and people will buy it. And it's a completely valid, business decision. I mean, you have a big popular franchise, and frankly, without God of War Ascension, PlayStation 3 only had one God of War game, and that's kind of strange considering it's one of the most popular franchises out there. But yeah, it's end of console. We're saving our best stuff for PlayStation 4 mindset. It's not completely wrong. It's kind of smart. It's just we're in that annoying phase where the PlayStation 3 is tapering off and the PlayStation 4 is gearing up. It happens a lot.
If there's anything that Aliens Colonial Marines has taught me, it's that just because you love a franchise doesn't mean you're actually willing to put the legwork in to make a game worthy of its legacy.
Here's another thing I want to bring up. I don't want to call out anybody by name, any outlets or anything.
Let's do it!
Come
on, motherfucker! Randy Pitchford, come get me!
No, I'm talking about with the critical reception of God of War Ascension. If you forget the numbers, read the text of all the reviews on the internet. They all pretty much say the same thing, but the numbers between Yusuf's and the other ones are the difference. Here's an example. This is a big site, like one of the biggest sites. Here's their
site. Let's be sure. Come on.
Here's their blurb for their God of War Ascension review. After years of dominance, God of War Ascension is the series stumble that could allow the competition to close the gap. That sounds like a big deal, right? They stumbled. They're going to close the gap, right? That's some pretty big words. What do you think's the numerical score for that review?
8.
Yeah, it's an 8.
I didn't know that. I hope everybody who hears this broadcast Googles that goddamn blurb. Do it!
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you took the words from Yusuf's review and you changed the score, people wouldn't be angry, but they wouldn't call bullshit on the dissonance between the number and the score. And it's not news. I'm not blowing anyone's mind with the news that no one reads the text, but I feel like the kind of critics at the end of this console generation are kind of getting a little complacent with the scores. Like, they're not afraid to call bullshit on bad games, but they might be a little afraid to give big releases low numbers, is what I'm saying.
That's sad. Oh, and by the way, as you were saying the blurb, I was typing it into Google, so now I know. I'm not even joking. I muted my mic. Actually, I muted my mic and while I was typing, and as soon as Johnny started saying blurb, I said that's what I'm doing, but I forgot that my mic was off. But now
okay,
it's
Leon, I gotta know. Does the name of the site start with an I?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But there is an I in it. Are we really not allowed to say this?
You are. I'm not comfortable with calling out, but I mean, you're our everyman. So if you do it, I guess it's not my fault.
Game Informer.
That's shocking.
It's Game Informer. It's just another site. You know, I don't even at this point go to too many video game websites besides ours and like one more. So you know, I don't care what Game Informer says. Especially if they say to this thing and give it an 8.
I mean, I met some of the Game Informer guys at E3, but I mean they're perfectly nice and they're entitled to their opinion. Okay. I'm just saying, you look around, I don't see the texts matching the scores as much as I would be comfortable with, and I feel like Yusuf, first of all, who I vehemently disagree with on a lot of things, like I would fight that man over a lot of opinions, but I respect the balls it takes for him to take stances on things he believes. Because, you can disagree with him all you want, as I do, but you can't ever accuse him of not saying what he feels.
Yeah,
So,
when I was doing A Heart of Gaming, and now that when I'm doing Renegade Cut, every once in a while when I say something that's like vaguely unpopular, I get a few people saying, "You're trolling for hits. You want to rake in the cash from your opinions." Like, the difference between an episode of either show that just gets okay numbers and the episodes that get higher numbers because of, controversy are like dollars. Like, enough for me to buy like 2 cans of Dr. Pepper. That is the difference between an okay episode of either show and, the ones that, like the Minecraft episode that apparently pissed everybody off. It really changes very, very little. And I can only speak for myself, but I imagine that, and I could be entirely certain here, but I imagine, there aren't these editors, sort of saying, "Hey, say this shit. Well, I'll give you a bonus if you say this shit." So, I really hate when people say, "This opinion is slightly out of the norm." Trolling.
Well,
You're trolling.
Even if it were the case, that there were some websites out there that specifically engineer, bonuses for writers who get X amount of hits for articles, or, like if a company gets a Metascore, or like, royalties on advertising or something like that, it does not apply to Blistered Thumbs. I cannot stress this enough. Like, if Yusuf writes a review that gets 0 hits, nobody reads it, he gets, quote unquote, paid the same amount of money.
But let me just step in here and say, at the risk of tooting our own horn, Blistered Thumbs is a volunteer site. Johnny ain't making no money. Yusuf ain't no money. $0. We are all full-time students or have other jobs, and we do this because we love video games. Leon's obviously just a video producer. He does his own thing. I'm not talking about Liana. Written reviews. Nobody here is getting paid to say nothing. So
And I mean, there will be people out there who will say, "Oh yeah, but you're a subsidiary of Channel Awesome, do." And the truth of the matter is, we have like very little interaction. We share an HR staff. There we go.
Yeah.
That's Holly, our beautiful and wonderful Holly, who looks after our human resources. She is the only staff that we share. With that guy with the glasses or any other Channel Awesome affiliate.
It should also be noted that Blip pays me to do what I do. Channel Awesome doesn't pay me anything. So Channel Awesome is not handing out money for anyone to do the things that they do. That goes from Johnny to me to everyone.
Sorry if we got a little real there, but
yeah.
Just on the subject, because this comes up all the time, is people, I hope someone said, James gave SimCity a 7 out of 10, and someone on N4G said, "I hope you enjoyed your EA monies." That's literally the quote they said. As if they paid him off for a 7.
Can you just imagine someone in EA, like, just kind of like, just tenting their fingers and wearing like a really dark suit and like shadows are coming over them, and then they sort of like lean into the light and something like, "How do we get the Blistered Thumbs credit?"
or even better, courting a 7.
Yeah.
Like $5. Well, $5, $10
If you're gonna bribe us,
$20. I will give you $20 for a 7 and also some cotton candy.
Okay, we're on the subject of buying reviews. Let's put this one to bed once and for all. No publisher is ever going to go to a reviewer and say, "Here is money, give us a thing." I'm not saying there's no influence, but it's subtler. It's going to be, "Oh, hey, are you enjoying the advertising banners? I hope your review's coming along well." Like, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because I'm sure it does. If you guys remember Jeff Gertzman over at GameSpot, blah blah blah.
Too, yeah.
Yes. So stuff happens, but we are not important enough for it to happen to, and we'll let you know, because if it happens to us, it's worth more for us to break the story than it would be to accept the bribe.
You're so right about that.
if anyone ever came and was like, "Here's money for a review," front page, you'd see it on Reddit. It'd be a big deal. So
yeah,
that's happening. Anyway, that's my piece. If anyone wants to talk about that more, we can continue that one in the comments. So Leon, did you play anything else besides Final Fantasy VI?
I watched my wife play Tomb Raider, if that counts, which it really doesn't.
It would count more if we hadn't already gotten quite a lecture on that one.
I'll just say one thing. Although I was not present for it, my wife detailed for me as soon as I got home from work this evening that she squealed like a fangirl when Lara Croft picked up 2 pistols at the same time for the, I guess, canonical first time and shot some dude a lot. So apparently she was very happy, and as soon as she texted me while I was at work and said, "I beat Tomb Raider," and I said, "Sequel bait?" And she said, "Yeah." So apparently there's sequel bait at the end.
I would hope so. I'd imagine this is a new franchise. Why wouldn't
not a sort of new franchise. I mean, rejuvenated franchise. But yeah. I assume they're already hoping for a sequel, and I think the numbers are good, or aren't they?
Yeah, no, Square Enix is quite happy with the sales data for that one.
Can I say one quick thing about Tomb Raider, actually, now that we're back on the subject? The thing is that everybody's going after it for being like, oh, this is obviously they're ripping off Uncharted, that ripped off Tomb Raider, that ripped off Indiana Jones, The thing is that playing the actual game, there's a lot of, weird kind of Zelda vibe going on here. Yeah,
I mean, actually, I think one of the articles I did running up to it was something about how they were incorporating light Metroid elements into it.
Yeah, I'm running around levels and it's like, what's that thing? That thing looks like it should be something I can do something with. I can't do anything with it. And
I'll come back.
I grab something and it's like, hey, if you find a thing, do a thing with it. I'm like, oh my god, I can do things with this thing on those things. Which, incidentally, is actually the same kind of pillow talk I use with my girlfriend.
that gets them wet.
Ow. It's really horrible.
But yeah, there is. It's like there's a lot of Metroidvania, Zelda kind of. Here's your rope and a spoon, so now you can eat soup from afar.
Sounds awesome.
Always an important survival skill to have.
You know it, particularly when you're in an area as cliffy as the
Cliffy B.
I was leading up to that joke. God damn it!
Sorry, I'll edit it out if you want to try it again.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Speaking of which, the other big AAA prequel we're getting, Gears of War Judgment, is supposedly a little bit better than the God of War prequel we're getting. So that review is up on site if you want to read it. What else?
All I know about that game is someone is blonde in it.
Baird? I think Baird is blonde. Yeah.
Okay, Baird. That's all I know. I've seen the image of a bunch of guys in the front, and one is blonde. And that's all. That's the only way I can distinguish it from the regular Gears of War stuff, because the other guy has black hair.
Marcus? Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Phoenix, played by the guy who did Bender's voice. That's how I know him. He's the guy who was Bender and Waka.
Oh, Jesus, Waka. That's really all the same person?
Yes, Bender is...
He's also in Adventure Time, the dog in Adventure Time, I think it is.
That's cool.
He's in Mad World. He's in stuff.
Yeah, there's only 12 voice actors in video games. Mostly it's Nolan North.
Yeah, all 9 of them are Nolan North.
Yeah. So, did you guys notice on last week's episode I didn't talk about what I played?
Oh, well,
because I know what you played. I know what you played, Austin.
What did I play?
You played Fire Emblem.
So, last week I didn't tell you guys, but here's what's been happening in my life. I put down Fire Emblem a while ago, and I explained how my addiction to Fire Emblem was trumped by my laziness to put Fire Emblem back into my 3DS. However, I found a force more powerful than either my addiction or my laziness, and that is my desire to get free stuff.
Your desire to play Fire Emblem?
No, because as you might know, Fire Emblem is one of the first, I believe it might be the second or first, Nintendo game to get DLC. It has the paid DLC, which is good, but it also has weekly free DLC, Spot Pass DLC, as it's called, which is fucking amazing. And they released another mission, and I had to. It's free. I had to download it, guys, and it's great. It's a whole another map, and it's got a bunch of characters from the old Japanese Fire Emblem games to recruit, and it has a non-canonical mission where you can recruit one of the characters who died during the actual game. It's like if they remade Final Fantasy VII, and on New Game Plus, you could put Sephiroth, Aerith, and Hojo in your party. It's fucking hardcore.
I would play that game.
I would buy 2 copies.
Yeah.
Who's Hojo again?
That's the scientist?
Yeah, he made Red 13 or something, and he's like,
yeah.
he's all, he
Okay.
has glasses or something.
All right.
But that's the content of the Spot Pass DLC is essentially, so a lot of it isn't accessible until you're in the end game, which is, at that point, you can do whatever you want. And a lot of characters who died, mostly villains, a couple of them who aren't villains, you can basically get them in your party. And they don't have a lot of dialogue, although if you're unmarried and they are of the opposite gender, you can bang them.
But not saying
Unimportant question.
Lame.
Okay, I don't know what to feel the same-sex thing or the question first.
I feel we should be talking about gay sex.
Okay, yes, I think we discussed this before. I think someone in the comments, I think it was Silveria, who I love beyond just a reason. This person I am in love with, the commenter on Blistered Thumbs. But he or she mentioned that they were playing a female Robin and that they were upset that they couldn't romance Tharja, who was the dark mage that I married. Right. And we were talking about the lack of same-sex marriage in Fire Emblem. Normally, I would be pretty upset because I think it's a missed opportunity. Why not? Why can't we gay it up? The answer there is it's actually tied into the mechanics of the game. When 2 characters get married, they have a kid who then becomes part of your army, and it's kind of an important thing that happens in the story. So I guess you could adopt, but I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but it would mess up the fiction to allow same-sex marriages, sort of.
I still feel like there should be more gay sex in games, just in general.
No, I definitely agree. I'm all for.
It's a blanket statement. I admit, but whenever I shouldn't even say gay sex. I mean relationships. And whenever something like that comes up, when someone says, "Why can't I do this?" I feel like there's you've come up with a reason, but I feel like that reason could have been subverted somehow. Like there must have been a way around it narratively.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they could have.
Yeah.
I'm not upset that they didn't do the necessary legwork to make it work because of all the other content that's in the game. If it was a lazy game, then I feel like I would have some cause to be a little upset. But with all the effort that was clearly put into it, I kind of understand. Hopefully the next one, they will write a scenario in such a way that it wouldn't be an issue. That would be awesome.
I insist upon it.
That would be great.
There you go.
But yeah, so that's why I picked up Fire Emblem again, is because of the free Spot Pass DLC, which better be, I'm just going to reiterate, better be non-canonical, because it undoes some shit. So it's not canon as far as I'm concerned. And yes, I am too invested in this. Shut up, Johnny.
I didn't say anything.
You were thinking it.
I may have been.
I have filleted this game at some length, but I do want to say one more. I'll do 2 more things on this. One is good and one is bad. Good thing that this has over all the other Fire Emblem games, all of which are superb, is pretty much all of like 50 or 60 characters you can recruit are useful, which is rare for a Fire Emblem game because usually there's a lot of people that as soon as you get, those fuckers go on the bench. But in this game, pretty much everybody has some utility, and which means my second playthrough, I've been specifically using the characters I didn't use the first time around, which makes it completely different and awesome, and it definitely has a lot of replayability. So I'll give it that. However, I don't want to just come off like fanboying over this because I do agree with our review of it, 9 out of 10, buy it now, which Robert wrote, because besides the some of the predictable plot points that the game does fall prey to a little bit, there are other problems with it that you can't deny. So I don't want to come off as if it's like, oh my god, it's so perfect. It's just something that I'm like really into right now, but it's definitely objectively got a couple issues. One of them, strangely enough, is the thing that kind of defines Fire Emblem, which is the permadeath. If a character loses all their HP, they're gone. Although you can turn that off in this one. It means that since they can die at any point, they can't become too involved in the plot lest they completely derail it, which is kind of a problem that Mass Effect has.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if someone dies, like someone replaces them. There's another Krogan that'll step in, if Rex dies in the first one. But he's never quite Rex, So Fire Emblem kind of has that problem. I think it would be somewhat remedied if they did what Mass Effect 2 did and have those loyalty missions, so you get a little bit more time and you feel like each person's a little bit more important. And I think Fire Emblem would obviously require a lot of maps, like 40 extra maps, but I don't know how they would swing that. That's what I'm saying, basically. If there's a way to improve it, to bring the next Fire Emblem up to a 10 out of 10, is to make each character more story important, because they're not going to get rid of permadeath. Maybe what they could do is something like XCOM, where if someone loses all their HP, they'll be out for like 3 battles, but they can still take part in like story stuff. I don't know. There's a compromise there, so...
No, people die in XCOM.
No, I know they do. I'm saying, but that's not... They die in XCOM, but they also can be out for a couple battles, right?
Well, that's wounded.
Yeah, but I'm saying they could have a thing in Fire Emblem if characters lose all their HP, they're out for a couple battles. I'm not saying that XCOM doesn't have permadeath.
Oh yeah, no, all right, sorry, I get you.
That subsystem they could incorporate in some way. I'm just throwing out ideas here. I think, Johnny, something that you wanted to talk about a while, now that I'm done talking about the thing that only I've played and therefore you guys don't have any input on, Far Cry 3.
Yeah, that's right, you finished it, didn't you?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure if I hallucinated the whole thing.
Okay, all right. So, should we just go ahead and announce spoilers?
Well, it came out, what, 5 months ago?
Yeah.
I mean,
just in case.
Let's announce it, I guess, yeah. You might want to skip ahead, because I guess are we going to go full spoilers? You're just going to lay it out?
Well, why not? I mean, because there are some obvious fucking problems.
I don't know if they're... Okay, let's just make it official. Skip ahead 5 minutes if you don't want to hear the end of Far Cry 3, because we're about to do this.
So
lay the problems on me, Jonathan.
Okay, I will go ahead and lay the problems on you. Like, I'm sorry, did you feel like so fucking invested in that woman that you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking kill all my friends now, just for you, baby?
Here's my thought process, right? Because there's a point where Jason says, fuck you guys, I'm leaving. He made it. It was already decided.
Yeah.
And then he gets back, and she kidnapped his friends to make him make the decision already made.
Yeah.
I was like, bitch, if you would have come to me, we could have talked about this like adults, because I was staying with your ass. But now you're going to pull some of this crazy shit? Now fuck you. Now I'm unreasonable. Fuck you.
It is. It's fucking stupid. I mean, it goes completely sideways. It, like, tries to prove that, like, oh my god, you're a savage. And almost tries to shame you into it, in a certain sense, too. Like, I mean, Spec Ops The Line did a fabulous job of just being like, hey, look what you did.
Yeah, speaking of the, oh my god, what have I done? That has the clumsiest instances of that when he's torturing his brother and he actually looks down at his hands and goes, my god, what have I become?
I know, it's like, it's so ham-handed.
It's almost like self-parody, how obvious they are with it. It wasn't very subtle.
Yeah, it gets pretty rough, but yeah, that...
If you haven't played Far Cry 3 but are still listening and you're a little lost, at the end of the game, you, after basically killing your way across these islands, you've just murdered everyone who you come across.
Like, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of people.
You are just a disgusting monster of a human being.
By hand, by gun, by explosions, by fire, any means.
And you've saved all your friends who are still alive, and they're going to leave the island. Suddenly, your tribal girlfriend, for no reason, kidnaps your friends and makes you kill them.
After you have decided that your friends can leave the island without you because you have found your place here.
Yeah, there's literally no conflict until it's forced upon you. And then, of course, I don't know if we want to give away the very, very end, if you actually side with Crazy Bitch. And this is, once again, this is coming from the person who purposefully married Tharja in Fire Emblem. This bitch is crazy, so I just want to throw that out there. That bitch is too crazy for me.
No, it balls a couple of things up.
Yeah, I think I need to step aside for a second here and say Far Cry 3 is a very good game.
Fantastic. I loved it. Top to, close to the bottom.
Content rich. It has so much stuff to do. It has a whole full co-op and multiplayer suite.
It looks gorgeous. The weapons feel good. The gameplay is solid. The level design, and I know that's weird to say about an open world game, but like the little instances, the nooks and crannies in the world, like...
Yeah, you feel like you can set up like ambushes, and there's like nice sniper spots, and you can start brush fires and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a damn good shooter, like top class. But the story, first of all, gotta give it props for being ballsy, because they could have done, by the numbers, kill the bad guy, save the girl. they went for it, and I all props there. But they they reached for it, and they went a little off the edge.
Yeah, there's a bit of helmet wearing that goes on your way down.
I mean, what do you think about all the QTE boss fights? Because they make sense from a certain perspective, right?
I can understand it. I can understand it because, you know, they try to place focus on story. And, I mean, the only way that you can have a story-satisfying boss fight that isn't contrived...
Yeah, because you can just shoot him in the head from 100 yards away.
Exactly.
You got to engineer something like this. It was as satisfying as it could have been, but it's still... it's almost like the end of BioShock. You get there and you're just like, oh, there's no way they could top this, so just make it video gamey.
Yeah.
It's disappointing in a lot of ways, but also like some of the things make sense. Like there's the whole lead up to Voss, you know, the bad guy on the box, who's like, and you're like, oh shit, you know, it's gonna go down. This is the fight, and then you do it, and then there's like 5 hours left of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like blam, and you're like, what?
But I mean, that right there, it can feel tacked on and it can feel unsatisfying, but it works with the drug allegory of the game. It's like, you know, the first hit, right, and then the next one, you kind of. It's never, you know, as big a rush as the first time. You're jaded and stuff. So it makes sense in the game, but doesn't make it any more fun. The second guy just isn't as compelling as the first.
Part of the problem, I feel, is the way that Jason Brody's character.
You mean everyone in the game is an unlikable douche nozzle?
Not even just that, but like we know so very little about our avatar, about the person that we are actually inhabiting.
Oh, and he's the seriously world's worst boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Guys, I actually have to get going. You guys can totally continue on without me, but I really got to roll.
All right. Bye, Leon.
Right,
always a pleasure, son. And then we only get to know him through his actions during the game, which are...
being a rich dick and being a murderous dick?
Basically. And just like...
But you know, the question is like, who's the real savage? It's like everyone.
Yeah, but that and this is the problem, is that there's no there's no line to draw. Like, I mean, this isn't fucking Heart of Darkness right here, because there's not even an idea of civility. There's not even a facade to break through. It's just, hey, look, a bunch of assholes that are killing each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's no foil, and it's kind of endemic, the setting, because they're trying to be like, this island is just inherently insane. Everyone here is just a crazy asshole. Let's just watch them be jerks. But there's no grounding. There's no, like, you don't really care about anyone.
It might be different. It might be different if you're friends. I mean, you know, like, who are in dire straits. If you spent more time with them, and the time that you spent with them was actually, like, normal. Meaningful,
yeah. If they were fleshed out, like, it might mean more when he's a dick to his girlfriend if you had any reason to care about her, or you know, any of the friends you save. Like, there's, I don't know if you saw these, but there's like the berries in the cave that you can eat.
Yeah, and then you flash back to the club and
they're still being dicks.
Yeah, I mean, at no point in time do these characters have any variation whatsoever. And for a game that claims to be as heavy on theme as when Far Cry 3 first came out, as the creators did, it was sorely disappointing in its final delivery. Like, I was kind of waiting for it to deliver that, like, the final punch at the end, be like, yeah, that's what we got. But it just didn't happen.
Yeah. I feel like there was a couple points where it thought it was, but, like, I knew his brother was still alive for the entire time.
Everybody did. It's the most telegraphed fucking plot twist.
I feel like that was their, you know, would you kindly, or whatever. You know, there was a couple of times where I feel like they thought it was, like, the big reveal, and I was like, no, I know. Let's keep going.
Come on, dude. I mean, we're playing a fucking video game here. You know, if we're deconstructing, saying, oh, no, dude, he's dead, and to be like, oh, he's alive, that's like every goddamn video game ever.
Also, like, I gave the game quite a bit of the benefit of the doubt for certain things, because there was the whole, I knew going into it, right, that it was about, like, examination of the violence. It was kind of like a, you know, are you going to become the savage? So there's the part where, which is in the early trailers, where Voss, like, grabs the gun in your hand and is like, do it, pull the trigger. And so I expected that if I pulled the trigger, it would shoot him, and then it'd be like, oh, you are a monster. So I didn't. I put the controller down and I sat there, and like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then it went to a cutscene, and he was like, tripping balls, running up the stairs, and there was Vosses everywhere, and he was like, shoot me, and so I didn't. I ran past him, and then I got to the top, and it was like the QTE to stab him, and so I purposefully didn't. I was like going out of my way to try to do like a pacifist run to see if it would be like, oh, you're retaining your humanity, and it just wouldn't go until I pushed the button.
Yeah. No, Crysis 3 did something similar as well, where they get to a point in time where you have, like, your gun pressed up against this guy's head, and it's like, press the button, kill him, and I'm like, I wonder if I don't. And the game shoots him for you.
Yeah, that's happened in a couple of different games to me, where it's like, I'm not expecting you to make a whole separate campaign to take all my choices into account, but don't give me a choice if it isn't a choice.
Yeah.
And admonish me for not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, and this is one of the things that I love about Spec Ops. When you get to the famous white phosphorus scene, they lay it out for you. It's like, oh, don't we have some other choice? And the main character says, no, we really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the difference between real choice and the illusion of choice. And if you're gonna fake a choice, don't make it so clear to the player. Make it seem like they make the choice. But if you just put a big button prompt and then not pushing it does the same thing as pushing it, you kind of give up the illusion. Unless the game is like BioShock, kind of like a discussion on that players have no agency, which I don't think Far Cry 3 was going for.
No.
It wasn't like you are a video game character. Oh my God, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the message it was going for, so it kind of rings hollow.
Still a great game, though.
I feel like we can talk about shit about it for like half an hour and be like, seriously, so good though.
But that's the thing, like it's pure mechanics, like the way it feels to run through the jungle, fucking like that bow, the flamethrower, the rocket launcher, the machine guns, the sniper rifles, modding the weapons, the RPG elements, like playing Far Cry 3 is nothing short of delight. It's fantastic.
It has the only useful video game flamethrower in history.
Oh, so good.
Really good. Here, I mean, I don't want to speak in hyperbole here. Can you think of a first-person shooter that feels better, like just the shooting parts of it? Because I feel like Half-Life 2 is like a better ride, maybe. Crysis 3 may look a little better, but I can't think of anything that just I want to shoot as many things as I do.
I like the weapons in Rage.
Rage has a meaty feel to it, yeah. I know you're talking about, but Rage sucks in like every other category.
Pretty much. But yeah, so I mean, like shooting the weapons and having an effect on the world and whatnot. Far Cry 3 is I mean, those are some new shoe sizes that I imagine other games are going to have to fill.
So, I mean, it's strangely enough, I think Far Cry 3 and Fire Emblem are almost the same in the sense that they're super, super good, and I could talk about how much I love them for a long time, but they're both, at the end of the day, 9s.
Yeah.
Feels like, I don't know if I'm nitpicking, because obviously I put, 30 hours into both of these games, and I at the end of the day, I still have complaints, like I'm some kind of, like, ungrateful jackass.
I don't know if it's ungrateful. I mean, you paid for it, didn't you?
I borrowed my brother's copy of Far Cry 3. I did pay for Fire Emblem, though.
Regardless, like, I mean, it's not as though somebody gave you Far Cry 3 and was like, have this and enjoy.
Was the girl at the GameStop a heart attack when I bought Fire Emblem because there was only like 2 left, and because I don't know if you know, but first of all, they didn't ship them out until like after the release date to 2 stores, so there was already a shortage, and then when they came out, they sold out really quickly, and she thought there was only 1 left, and she wanted it.
Oh.
Gonna fight for it, but then she found another one and it was fine, but I was like, bitch, I ain't leaving here without this. I will fight you. No, she's cool, but I thought it's funny because everyone who has played this game falls in love with it, and I think the same thing's true with Far Cry. I think once you get your hands on it, you'll love it, but it is not without questionable elements.
It's flawed.
Yeah.
When
the first disco knife fight happened, I was like, I don't know what is going on. So, I mean, I guess if you're listening now, the spoilers have ended, but I don't even know how long we went on for, so this has been an interesting episode.
I guess we'll have to check in post. And when I say we, I mean you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm sleeping tonight, so whatever.
Whatevs.
Well, I mean, yeah, video games, right?
Sometimes.
I don't even know where to go from here.
Your bus smells like urine.
Probably. Public transportation is scary.
Yeah, that's why they have a secret society dedicated to making it smell bad and having crazy people rant on it and finding things like used condoms.
I don't know if I ever told you this. There's a story about there was a used condom in the 50-yard line in the middle of the high school football field where when we went out for practice one time, it was just like, first of all, just fucking high five whoever that. Just, that's really awesome. Just like, I'm just gonna go bang on my high school football field. Like, when did you find the time?
What makes you think that it was a teenager?
That's true. It could have been anyone, but I guess I assumed because it would be how triumphant, right? Just like on school grounds, like you don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know how we're supposed to follow that. This is an episode.
I'm hoping maybe we're getting back on track. This is like, I don't know, the rally before the big battle where we emerge victorious. Because, like, the past ones have been dark. We've been sad and addicted and just awful.
Yeah, but isn't that the most interesting, though? I feel like now when it gets hopeful and then we beat Voldemort, like, then we'll have this chapter where I'll show up at the train and then it's shitty fan fiction.
Spoilers? Oh, fuck, I'm just messing with you. In fact, I'm absolutely confident that you knew that I was messing with you.
I didn't give it enough thought.
I don't really Harry Potter much.
I read all the books. I've seen like one movie. What's the point of seeing the movies if you read the books?
I haven't read the books. I've seen the first 3 movies, I think.
Yeah, I guess if you watch or read, do one or the other. Doing both doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There's only so many hours in a lifetime.
Yeah, more or less. But, you know, people do. Jane Austen fans, mostly.
Also, I have to say, even though I like the books, the introduction of time travel in, I think, book 2 or 3 completely ruins everything if you take even a second to think about it, because they could undo everything at any time and choose not to.
I don't really remember that, but, you know.
Hermione gets the time turner. It's a little thing so she can take extra classes. So she goes back in time and take extra classes because she's a nerd and it's supposed to be funny. But then when people start dying, it's not funny because they could have gone back in time and stopped the people from dying.
Yeah.
It isn't until like book 5 or 6 where, like, I don't know, I think they destroy like all of the time turners. But there was like 3 books where they were out in the wild and we let people die, which is kind of a douche move. So
that is douchey.
It's pretty douchey. I'm sure someone out there is like, actually, if you read the tie-in, released in Portugal, explain that all the time turners were on Hippogriff Island. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, most likely.
We talked about science fiction for like half of one episode. We need to have one where we just go after like beloved childhood favorites like Harry Potter.
But that's not my childhood, Austin.
It's your childhood. I had Power Rangers and Barney.
Well, you know, Power Rangers skirts it. What year did Power Rangers come out? It was like 1994, maybe, was it?
Probably that makes sense when I watched it.
Yeah, like I was a teenager. I was 14 in 1994. So my childhood,
Thundercats and He-Man.
Yeah, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man, Transformers, GoBots to a certain extent. Although Transformers were way cooler. And there's a bunch of other like late 80s cartoons were fucking weird.
Like, I know, like, Ren and Stimpy was, like, scarring for me. I don't know if that was in your wheelhouse.
Oh, yeah, Ren and Stimpy, I was all up in that shit.
It scared the shit out of me when I was little.
But, like, no, I just mean, like, what is it, Lone Star, Silverhawks, Bionic Six. I got a bin full of all these like old action figures and toys and I'm just like, oh my god. Like Silverhawks is a story about a family of fucking cyborgs.
Are they black?
No.
I'm not interested.
No, not really. They're really not. They're like the Osmonds in space. They're like covered head to toe in metal. And they even have like these like shiny metal chrome silver haircuts. And they fly in space with wings. And now when I watch it as an adult, I'm like, that doesn't fucking make sense. There's no airlift in space. On account of it's a vacuum.
No, I know. I think it's funny with all the stupid-ass fashions people thought we would have in the future. No one predicted, like, Crocs or Snuggies or anything.
No, they did not. No. Or, like, those fucking toe shoes that people have now to run in. Have you seen these?
think so. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're like these shoes that adhere to the contours of your feet, and they actually have toes.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen those, but I don't know enough about it to make any comments. Now, it looks like people have started an argument in the comments about whether review copies count as being paid off.
Fucking seriously?
That's a thing. It's happening. Yeah.
The only time a review copy fucking pays off is if you like the game. And then you like the game, so you give it a good score. If you get a review copy and it's like, hey, sit down for 40 goddamn hours and play this game, no matter how much your eyes bleed.
No, I know, but it's not even like it's just something to do your job. It's like when you work at McDonald's, right? On your breaks, you get like a free Whopper or whatever. Whopper's not McDonald's, you know what I mean? Like no one's like questioning your integrity. I don't know. We're just working, guys. I don't know.
It's not even work. It's volunteer.
I know, but you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Like, be at large, it's like early access is just a kind of a thing we need for our job. It's not.
Austin,
I said this.
Don't you know the only way to have nonpartisan, completely impartial video games journalism is for the journalist to never play video games at all?
I'm so sad. I said this before. If all of us at BT got jobs, minimum wage jobs at McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
And bought all the games with our paychecks that we would have gotten for free, we would have more money left over after buying those games than we would if we did this. Like, there's no reason for us to do this except that we like video games.
That is unfortunately why I actually have a full-time job right now.
Not like no one is getting rich and no one is. You
don't fucking live off of preview copies of games. You can't feed yourself on a 2-week early access to God of War Ascension.
It's not a big deal.